guys. How's it going? You guys having a good con? Yeah, that's pretty good, right? Sweet. Glad to hear it. My name is Dalton Ross. I'm with Entertainment Weekly Magazine and Entertainment Weekly Radio. And man, do I have a thing for zombies, I gotta tell you. Not like a weird sexual thing. I don't think it's a weird sexual thing. But I'm just a fan of the genre, basically, in general. And if you're a fan of the genre, you are in the right place. Here in Hall H, we actually have two back-to-back panels that are going to deal with the undead. So kicking us off, taking the most famous novel of manners in history and adding a horde of plague-infested cannibals might not seem like a natural fit. But that's what made Seth Grahame-Smith's reimagining of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice so dementedly delicious. Now we get to see how that vision looks on the big screen. Let's meet the team behind Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, shall we? Let's bring him out. The author himself, Seth Grahame-Smith. You just gotta say you read his book. There he is. The director of the film, Burr Steers, is coming out right now. There he is. Playing the dashing Mr. Bingley, Douglas Booth. And a man so handsome it makes you wonder why they hid his face for 4 years on Boardwalk Empire, playing Mr. Wickham, Jack Houston. She's the equal measures beautiful and deadly eldest Bennett sister, Jane, Bella Heathcote. And is there a doctor in the house? Playing Mr. Collins, Matt Smith, ladies and gentlemen. He's the man Elizabeth loves to hate and hates to love. Here's your Mr. Darcy, Sam Riley. And finally, playing a woman not to be trifled with in matters of love or the deadly arts, Elizabeth Bennet herself, Lily James, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Big crowd, love it. Let's start with Lily. Lily, in between Downton Abbey and Cinderella and now this, you've done a lot of period pieces, milady. But I imagine it has to be not too easy to fight off the undead in a corset. Like, how does that exactly work?
Well, nothing is easy to do in a corset. But actually it kind of helped somehow. And in costume fittings, we sort of kicked walls and lunged to make sure that we were able to do it.
Well, what sort of Elizabeth are we going to meet here? Because one of the biggest differences between the original book and Seth's reimagining is, besides the zombies, there's that. But there's zombies. But she's not as lighthearted. She's not as easy, not taking offense as easily in the original. And then we see she's much more badass, clearly, in this. So what sort of Elizabeth are we going to see on screen?
A fierce one. I kind of feel like within the relationship with her and Darcy, all that sort of inner conflict and all that sexual frustration and longing kind of comes out in decapitating zombies. And she's really good at it. In fact, being us five girls, the Bennett sisters, fighting together and destroying together was really, really fun.
I want to go to Jack because I noticed that we didn't see a lot of Mr. Wickham in that clip, which the reporter in me immediately thinks, is there some sort of twist? Is there something you guys are trying to obscure or hide here? What can you tell me, if anything?
I think Wickham is sort of shrouded in mystery, but it stays very true to the novel, which but at the same time, there are a lot of new twists, which I don't think we can go into too much.
You don't have to wear a mask over your happy face or anything, do you?
No.
Okay. Let's just make sure. All right, Sam. What about you? Because how much of a jerk is Darcy here? That we're going to meet first. Like, how did you calibrate? How did you calibrate the jerkiness? Because you have to bring him out in a way that is going to initially turn off Elizabeth a little bit, and maybe the audience a little bit at first as well, but also, still make him intriguing and redeemable.
What was the question? How did I manage to hide?
Yeah. How jerky did you make him here at the outset?
well, he's just misunderstood, isn't he? But he's a snob and very proud, obviously. But I haven't seen it yet, so I'm hoping I'm not too much of a...
Well, we'll have to wait to find out, I guess. Bella, obviously, you get to fight zombies, and that's pretty awesome, and it's something that must have been fun to film. What sort of, do you have to go through any training or anything for these action scenes, or what?
No, I just winged it. No, I did a lot of training. I did about 4 months of Kung Fu, which was great, because I just channeled all my anxiety into that. And then we did about a month when I came out with all the sisters. We did more martial arts, bit of choreography, weapons, all sorts of things. It was great.
Sounds fun. Douglas, you guys are in this bizarre situation of playing these like well-known characters, but they're well-known characters from classical literature, but you're playing versions of already previously adapted characters. So do you go back and look at any of that various source materials, or you just sort of throw it all out?
No, I don't think previously filmed adaptations are necessarily useful, though I have seen a lot of them. But for me, it was about going back to the original book, and sort of just kind of figuring out and sort of knowing who I wanted it to be before I arrived on set, and then just my interactions with the other actors in the scenes day to day would create this character. I don't think you want to get too hung up on guys who've gone before. You just want to kind of do your own thing. I think let a bit of yourself out and stuff.
Well, I mean, Matt, you obviously have some experience with passionate fan bases with Doctor Who. Eric Austin.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jane Austen fans are pretty passionate too, in their own right.
Not as passionate as Doctor Who fans.
Did you have friends and family, like when you got this role, that were all excited you were in Pride and Prejudice, and you had to explain that this version was just like a wee bit different from what they might be thinking?
Well, the clue is in the title, all through Pride, Prejudice and Zombies. No, yeah, look, I think it's a really fun film, and I think it's a sort of film that you could take your chick to. There's a great central love story in it, but then there's people's heads getting blown off. Zombies are exactly what Pride and Prejudice needed, I think, really. Woo!
Burr, were there any sequences from Seth's book that you were particularly excited to sort of translate to film? Like when you poured through the book, you said, "I cannot wait."
Seth wrote a book. The first battle scene with the sisters in the ballroom, getting to stage that and getting to reveal who they were through the way that they fought, that was fun. It was great.
And Seth, were there any aspects of your book, once you realized this was going to be made into a feature film, that you were sort of really excited to see how that was going to look and, you know, bring your words to life here, and James as well?
I know this sounds like a cop-out, but I was just excited that it was finally getting made. We had some false starts along the way, but you know, I have to say, overall, having just seen a rough cut of the film recently, I think the thing that I'm the most excited about is that Burr clearly understands the tone of this absolutely stupid, ridiculous idea, and that the only way to really go at it is to do it without ever winking once at the audience. We were talking backstage a little bit, and every one of these actors, to a person, is brilliant in this, and every one of them is acting as earnestly as if they were in, you know, just a Pride and Prejudice movie. And I think that's why it works, is because the movie isn't, you know, going for the joke. It isn't winking at you. It's playing the most straight Pride and Prejudice, beautifully shot, elegantly costumed, wonderfully made and acted, and then zombies show up and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
So the threat feels real. The threat is not played for laughs.
It's played for real. And you're invested in the characters, and that's because of our great cast.
All right, I want to know from all of you, we'll start down, really go down the line, what would be your personal favorite weapon for fighting the Sorry Stricken? It can be something you use in the film, or just anything you'd like to use to fight off a horde of the undead. Lily, we'll start with you.
Oh, well, the fun thing was that we had like daggers hidden absolutely everywhere. I think I had them in my pants, and so I'd pick a dagger.
Okay.
Good shout.
I had a samurai sword, but I'd probably rather have a machine gun.
Yeah.
They didn't exist. And muskets are pretty useless, because once you've fired that, then you have to ask the zombies to wait a second while you fix it up. But the samurai sword's pretty cool. That was a childhood fantasy fulfilled.
Well, I never got to do any fighting, really. I just ate things. So I'd bake a series of poisonous zombie muffins and lure them into my bakery and pretend that I'm going to give them treats. But actually, I'm going to poison them.
A massive bomb. I mean, whatever the most destructive thing is, I want to get to eliminate them all as far away from me as possible. So I'd say a bomb would be my weapon of choice for zombies.
I have to outdo that now. A nuclear bomb.
Take everyone out.
You want to survive it though.
No, I'm in the air or on a boat. Man.
Yeah. We just got a great idea,
On a
actually.
ship
Jack.
in the ocean.
Roman Abramovich's yacht.
In Abramovich's yacht in the ocean.
Yeah.
Happy. Yeah.
To escape, just me and Jack, and a select crew, so... Hang on, everyone's welcome.
When in our movie, when zombies, when they first bite a human, you can't quite, if they cover it up, you can't quite tell, so they can live in society for a little bit. So there's a kind of, in our movie, there's a bit of a sense of paranoia, which you saw in the clip at the beginning when Dust comes to the house. So they can kind of come from anywhere. So maybe something that like Assassin's Creed has, you know, that thing that shoots from here. So someone's just coming at me, I can kind of just get them, you know, wherever. So maybe that. Or a machine gun, or a bomb, or a nuclear bomb, or be on a boat, whatever.
You went stealth for a second, then you just went the complete opposite direction.
Yeah. I have it all. I mean, like, yeah.
All right, Bird, what about you?
What would I use to kill zombies? At a nuclear bomb. Yeah, them. I would use them to kill zombies.
On the record, I don't think the nuclear bomb option is a good one. I don't think that's gonna.
Black water? I don't know. Yeah.
Not in the late 17th century.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are all forgetting though that the most dangerous weapon is the heart of a warrior.
Fucking A.
Particularly the female warriors in this film who were trained at Shaolin and not Kyoto, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the Bennett sisters are the deadliest of weapons.
Sisterhood.
Come on.
All right, let me ask you guys this. Who among you up here would be the first to go in a real zombie apocalypse? Who's getting eaten first? Do you think you are?
We'd be neck to neck.
All right, what about among the cast? Who's getting eaten first?
Doug? We can't lose Doug.
Thingy, I mean.
Oh, really? Yeah, maybe.
Someone's gonna go.
I should probably go, really. I mean, I'm the most useless.
I'd save you, Matt. I'd save you.
Holland.
Yeah, alright, Collins. Me.
Choose someone that's not here.
I'm taking the hit.
Take one for the team.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. All right, look, I know you guys want to ask these guys a lot of questions, and so let's get to that. We have a line right there. Look at the spotlight, isn't that handy?
Whoa.
Do you have questions for the cast and the director and writer of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies? Now is the time, and we'll start right there with Wonder Woman. How's it going?
Hey,
Yeah.
Hi everybody. It looks like a fantastic movie, and this is really great for Matt Smith. My daughter, Cutting Up Indiola, is your #1 fan. She was too scared to ask you this question. Do you in real life see yourself like in similarities to the character you play in this movie?
Do I?
Yes, you.
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, I hope not. Because he keeps getting rejected. I've always had terribly good success with the ladies. No, I mean, not really. But he's quite kind, and he likes muffins. So, I like to think that I'm quite kind, and I do like muffins.
What's not to like? All right. Hey, how's it going?
Hello, I'm Savannah, and I have a question for Matt Swift.
Matt Swift.
Matt Smith.
Matt Swift. Yeah, no problem.
How has your transition been between filming TV, like Doctor Who, and transitioning to filming a movie, like Pride and Prejudice,
Pride and Prejudice.
Zombies? It's kind of a major, not really, but difference.
Well, you know what? It's all, there's just a camera there, and lots of nice actors, and I've been very fortunate to work with glorious people like this gang up here. So it's been rather nice. But I miss making Doctor Who because it's fun.
Thanks a lot. Hey man, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? I have a question for everyone. How does your character in the movie differ from the original one in the book?
Which book?
Oh, the original.
The original Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
My bad, sorry.
it's okay. Lily, we'll want to start with you.
Fiercer. I mean, Liz Bennet is already an incredibly independent, free-thinking, strong young woman, but I think it's enhanced even more in this. She's really strong and really badass. Yeah!
Take that. Keep going down the line. Anyone else?
Well, what was so great about the script and about Seth's book is that they're not really changing the characters all that markedly, really. You know, it's still Mr. Darcy with his prejudices, his snobbery, but with a samurai sword and martial arts techniques. But essentially, it's Pride and Prejudice, but with a zombie plague apocalypse in the background. But people are still trying to keep up appearances, you know. The snobbery that's still innate in English society is still there, but just more gore.
When I wrote the book, what I was trying to do is pretty simple, is you're not going to improve Jane Austen, especially not me. So my intent was take all of her characters, take all of her themes, and just turn them up to 11. And so the intention was, you know, Lizzie is strong in the book, and now she's like Lily said, she's a badass. It's for everyone. I think it's taking those character traits that are in the original novel and just playing them to a slightly ridiculous level at some points.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's get some more questions.
Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, any other questions, guys? The question line is right over there to the right. While we're waiting for the people to line up, Matt, why don't you continue on just with your character, how you decide to sort of adapt Mr. Collins here in the book. Did you take any other inspirations?
Oh, yeah, well actually the first meeting that I had with Burr, I was like, it'd be cool to do it if he was in love with Darcy, not anyone else. So, you know, see if you can see a little flavour of that in it. And I had a little.
Bella, what about you in playing Jane? Anything else?
I think she still wants to see the best in people, and I think she still kind of has a quiet wisdom to her, and I think she still wants to be in love, or wants to find love, but I just feel like the sense of responsibility she has towards her family, towards her sisters, is heightened because it's, you know, life or death.
And Jack, you talk a little bit about Mr. Wickham. Maybe some changes here, we don't know. What can you say?
It's quite hard with my character because maybe mine's sort of the most, maybe more changed than others. But it's essentially, like Sam was saying, the characters are all based on the book and haven't actually, that in terms of who they are, actually hasn't changed. So you're following that very closely, in a sense. It's sort of the Wickham you know, with my spin on it. But yeah.
Which was nice. Douglas?
Yeah, again, pretty much the same thing. I mean, what I loved about the script, that it was all the beats from Pride and Prejudice, all those characters stood up. They were the same. You really were invested in them. But it was just set amongst the most sane backdrop of zombie apocalypse. And how would Mrs. Bennet try and marry off all her daughters while this was going on? How would Darcy try and live the way he lived? How would that happen? And yeah, it's just, the result is exciting and funny and different.
Well, Bert and Seth, how did you guys talk about, you already have a book that's, reimagining of another book, now you're bringing it to the screen. How did you talk about changes from your book, Seth?
I just honestly, Burr came in with a vision of the movie and clearly understood what the intention was with the book and got, like I said before, that the humor should never forced or jokey. It should just be straight. And frankly, I'm just here as an author. I didn't have anything to do with the film. It's Burr and it's the cast, and so I just completely trusted these lovely people, and I'm very happy I did.
We have a question right out there. Let's get to that right now. Hey, how's it going?
Good, except that you actually just stole my question. Was working with two source materials, how did you do that? So we'll go with memorable moments while filming for the entire cast.
Okay. Why don't we go the opposite? Start with you, Douglas.
I think I was very fortunate. I've worked with Matt before, and I've known Lily for a while. So for me, it was just the whole experience. We had so much fun. I don't know if you can tell in that clip, but we just were having the best times of our lives. So yeah, I think Lily has quite a good one. Quite a good story about, which is so good it'll be anything I have to say, but it's with a sort of an extra zombie extra line on the floor.
You what?
The zombie when you stamped.
I did stamp on an extra's head. I thought it was a dummy, but it was a real life person. And I stamped really hard, and it was a rehearsal. It wasn't even a real take. But he was fine.
Stayed in character. He stayed in character. Didn't move.
He was out acting me, so I thought.
He asked for your number too.
But he was fine, and it was a hazard because everywhere you looked there were these zombies dripping in blood, and fake ones, real ones, and I got off this horse really gallantly and trod on a poor man's head.
I think they gave him a little extra money.
He did.
It's going method. Okay, very good. Hey, how's your question?
Hi, I was wondering, we're thinking about zombies, but we also have a period piece. So for the actors, how did you prepare your characters to bring those together?
Interesting question. How do you just get, I mean, that's one thing that you have to get into when you get into period pieces, and Lily obviously talked about you've been doing different periods, is all of you have in one aspect or another, but how did you have to get in the framework of that time period and the sort of classism of the time and stuff? Matt, let's start with you.
Well, I mean, I think that's the challenge of a film like this is to totally understand those two things and make them work together. And I don't know, as an actor, you sort of turn up, you get in the costume, and that does a lot for you. Weirdly enough, I don't know. Could be the future, could be the past. It's all the same in the end, isn't it? But I do think tonally, trying to balance those two ideas, the zombies and the period, is what's going to make the film interesting ultimately.
I actually think that in history there used to be some massive plagues. The Black Plague. There used to be lots of. Back then, it was more common for sort of things not like this, but to happen. I don't see zombies or a zombie movie necessarily as science fiction. It's something that could happen. I mean, there's terrible illnesses going on all around the world, and if a disease develops into a certain way where people start biting each other and infecting each other that way, I mean, yeah. So for me, I didn't have to separate the history of it from that. I actually think that almost made it easier. They were more used to those sort of plagues back then.